Welcome to DIY Thai massage at home, the basics that I'm going to share with you today. My name is Drew, and it's a real pleasure to have you here to share in some of my passion with me and hopefully learn a few little tools that will help you out in your everyday, and I'll show you a little bit more as we go along. But to start with, just to get you settled before we dive into all of the talking that I'm about to do, I'd love for you guys to experience some Thai massage right away. So there is a little bit of a forearm massage that I'm going to teach you that's really, really good if you spend a lot of time typing or writing, if any of us still write these days. So what you can do right now is you can tuck your hand right up underneath your armpit. So go ahead at home, join me. Don't worry, no one can see you. They can only see me looking like a chicken. It's all good. And make sure you can get it up as high as possible into your armpit. You should then feel a gentle little stretch along your forearm. And with that stretch, what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of pressure to it for massage. So get the rest of your fingertips and start to squeeze along that line of your outer forearm. And as you get closer to the elbow, you'll notice that it feels a little bit more sensitive. Okay, so take it slow, take it easy, make it feel really good. And this is just going to give you a little sneak peek as to what we're going to be doing a little bit later. So we'll add to this a little later on, and we'll talk a little bit about touch and Thai massage and all of the good things surrounding those, okay? So give your forearm a nice little squeeze, especially if you've been typing all morning today. This is a great break, a great reset for your forearms. So when you're done, just really gradually release that hand from underneath your armpit and then try the other side. So make sure you're evened out. Give the other forearm a squeeze. Spend some time doing that at home, and I'm going to bring up the first set of slides to start the webinar with. So bear with me for one more second. Alrighty. So over the course of this webinar, we are going to discuss the benefits of Thai massage, the real true need for human touch that we have, and I'll add into the techniques that you've already learnt just then in that first few minutes. So I'll give you a few more of those, and then we'll talk about if you really like those few little tools, we'll talk how you can learn more and the next steps from there. So while we get started, what I'd love is for you guys to test out the chat box there on the right hand side. If you can just send us a little something, just a little hello to let us know who's here and where you're from, that would be really great. At the same time, know that that chat box is going to be where you ask any questions, and towards the end, I'll grab a hold of all of them and try to respond to all of them within our 45-minute time frame. You can also tweet them to @Navina Thai Yoga if for some reason the chat box isn't working, okay? So there's a couple of ways that you can get in touch with us. All right, so one of the things that I wanted to tell you first, though, before I get into too much talking about Thai massage and touch, is a little bit of my story, a little bit of my personal background when it comes to Thai massage and how I got to where I am now, right now, today. And part of the reasons why this is my true passion is because I kind of fell into it. I really had no lead into it at all. I had never received a Thai massage. I had never done any research into it. I never watched any videos or anything. And I just fell right into it, into the deep end. And it was just the greatest thing that could have ever possibly happened. I can't tell you the number of things that have changed in my life for the better. We'll talk more about what happens with regards to touch a little bit later on, but it's really profoundly changed how I interact with people, how I build relationships with people, how I communicate with them. And it's brought this together, this really awesome community of great people around me. So I'm really appreciative for all of the things that Thai massage has brought me. On top of that, it's really contributed to my health and happiness. A little bit later, again, we'll talk about how touch in and of itself can help improve your health by boosting immunity. So stay tuned for that. And it's one of those things where I was kind of like where you are now, or where you might be now, depending on if you've ever had any exposure to Thai massage at all. So know that I was there too. I was, you know, at baseline. I had never done any work at all, and it's something that really has integrated itself, not into just the way that I practice and something I do for work, but just into the way that I live as well. It's been a huge benefit and asset to my life. So I'm going to bring up more slides again. A couple of the main benefits of Thai massage. Oh, before I get into that, I wanted to say hello to Sue. Oh gosh, from Kapuskasing. Wow, thank you for joining us from there. I apologize if I didn't say that correctly. So welcome. And so the main benefits of Thai massage, we can see here that we've got increased mobility, decreased pain, decreased stress, improved communication, and more on that in a few minutes, greater health, and a practice of compassionate touch. And a practice of compassion is kind of the foremost piece of this puzzle, and it's the one thing that Thai massage cannot do without. And even above and beyond that, it's a fantastic practice or a habit to get into the regimen of in your everyday life. Okay, it can really profoundly influence things. So a quick little history lesson. If history is not your thing, then just tuck that hand back under the armpit and give yourself another little massage while we go through this. Thai massage, if you Google it, it's been said to be about 2,500 years old. Chances are, if you were to Google search it now, that's what you'd find. A little caveat to that, though, is that the way that we practice now is much more modern. It's much more recent. And if you look deeper into the history of it, that age, that ancient status, is a little bit more related to the philosophies and the theories that underpin a Thai massage practice. So just be wary when you find that. Know that the techniques are a little bit more modern, a little bit more relevant to our current lifestyles as well. So the techniques, when it comes to Thai massage and Thai massage techniques, you might also see that there's quite a range of different Thai massage practices out there. And that's kind of one of the real beauties of Thai massage, is that it can encompass any technique. To be honest, there's all forms of different techniques that fall under the umbrella of what Thai massage is and what Thai massage can be. It's also, like I said, a practice of compassion, or a practice of metta. So metta is a Sanskrit word, and it translates as compassion or loving kindness. And that is the first and most important foundation of a Thai massage practice that you really can't do without. And then it's any technique that comes from that place of compassion, that place of loving kindness, that becomes an expression of Thai massage. And like I said, beyond that, it's a really great practice to have in your everyday life. It helps you to approach situations where you may not necessarily be able to otherwise maintain that compassionate mindset. So think about that. And another couple of parts of the history that I wanted to quickly mention. One part is the Sen lines. And if you're interested in Sen lines, we do talk more about it later on. If you're interested in further learning, we can definitely get into that. If you think about the traditional Chinese meridians, or if you practice yoga, the nadis of yoga, similar kind of thing. Sen lines are just the Thai tradition, the version of the traditional Chinese medicine, meridians. Then another important piece of the history that really does apply to what we're talking about and what we're going to be talking about in just a few minutes is how it was used in family units. So when we're looking back at the history books, Thai massage wasn't just a practice of therapy. It wasn't just something that people went to alleviate pain. Definitely that happens, and definitely that's a really good benefit, but it's not something that they would just use to help them feel better. They would use it to help them feel good in the long run. So it's something that contributes to maintaining positive health. And in a family unit, the way that they used to use it is at least one person within each family unit, whether it was an extended family or not, was able to practice some kind of Thai massage or some kind of Thai massage technique. And using that, they would not only help their family members to reduce their pain and increase their mobility, but they would also use it to develop family bonds and to build deeper relationships within that really close family unit that they had. And I think that's a really important thing to note, especially in our modern culture, where we do tend to be quite touch deprived, and we don't necessarily have the touch language or the skill to be able to do that confidently, or comfortably even. So those are the kinds of things that we'll be talking about very soon, and part of why I created an online course that I'm going to talk to you about in just a minute. So that's a little bit about the history of Thai massage itself, and now we're going to talk a little bit about human touch and why it's so necessary. Michelangelo has been quoted to have said, "To touch is to give life." And I think that that is so accurate, especially now that science is showing more and more how important touch is in our thriving, in our surviving even. So just to highlight that importance, to give you an idea of just how fundamental it is to our human being, is that it is our first sense to develop. As we are growing as a fetus, it is our very first of our 5 senses to develop. And that tells us that biologically, it is the most important. It is the one that we cannot do without. And I've done a little bit of research into this, and I've found that, or at least I haven't found, anyone who is alive today who does not have the ability to make physical, or does not have the ability to sense physical contact with one another, to sense tactile touch, which is really interesting, because when you think about our other senses, we can live without our other senses quite readily and in quite good health. But it's touch that we truly, honestly cannot do without, and we truly need. So going back to Michelangelo's statement there, it's a really apt point of discussion for this webinar. As well as that, we have been able to measure a significant contribution of oxytocin release in our body. So when we think of oxytocin, it's one of the joy hormones. It's something like, or it's akin to, I should say, serotonin and dopamine and all of the ones that make us feel really good. Oxytocin is also one of the implications for, or one of the implicated hormones in creating human bonds, in creating relationships, in creating those connections with one another. And each time we make physical contact with one another, we get a little bit of a hit of that oxytocin. Okay, so that's, over time you build more and more and more. And when you think about it, there are certain people in your life, if you go for massage, if you have one particular therapist that you see regularly, and for some reason you feel drawn to them, you feel like there's this kind of connection that you have with them that you don't necessarily have with other people. And I can pretty much guarantee you that's because you spend so much time in physical contact with one another. We'll talk more about the information that's exchanged in that touch in just a second. A little side note, or a little extra, is that oxytocin is what we call the love hormone as well. So it really does positively contribute to your health and happiness overall. The other thing that touch is really important in is communication. And there's actually been a pretty profound study, observational study, that teaches us, or at least highlights, exactly how important, or how much, I should say, how much information is conveyed through a single touch. Really quickly, I want to tell you about this study because I think it's just incredible. It blows my mind every time I think about it. So there are 2 people, and one person puts their hand through a screen, cannot see the other person, has never met the other person or spoken to them at all. The other person puts their hand through a screen and makes a 1-second contact with the first person. In that 1 second contact, they were given one of 12 emotions to convey. So with a single second of contact, they had to try and convey, this is love, this is anger, this is happiness, this is bitterness, or one of 12. They had a list of 12 emotions. And the person on the receiving end had to make a guess. And I do this because it's really not a guess. Based on the results that they got, they actually found that 50 to 55% of the first guess was correct. Now, if you take a minute to think about that, in terms of statistics, that's the kind of stat we would expect if there were only 2 emotions, one of 2 they were to convey, happiness, sadness, right? We'd think about a 50-50 chance. But there were 12. There were 12 full emotions that they were trying to convey and trying to list down as being received. And more than half of those first responses were correct. So that tells you that there's something happening. There's really something deeper and something more profound. I believe something far more ancient happening when we make that contact with one another that bypasses all of these words. So I'm talking a lot at you right now, but something older and something better than words is physical touch. So I really, really love talking about that study because it acts as such a great vehicle for fueling that conversation, I think. All right, so let's move now on from the benefits of touch to the benefits of Thai massage. So we see that, or we know that one of the things that a lot of us deal with is stress. A huge percentage of people have to deal with quite a significant amount of stress each day and each week. So we see that Thai massage has documented proof of having reduced stress. And so one of those things is, if you think just for a minute about when you hug someone, what happens to your body when you hug someone? It's this really strange relationship between the longer you hug someone, the better you feel. Whereas if it's a shorter hug, then it doesn't feel quite as good. Do you guys know what I mean with that? How often do you guys touch one another? How often do you give people hugs when you greet them? And do you notice that? I think that's a pretty important thing to start asking ourselves is, how often am I actually making contact with other people? And on the same vein of things, how often am I stressed? How am I using these tools of physical contact that cost nothing to reduce my stress? So take a minute to think about that as well. When it comes to other forms of benefits in Thai massage, things like the release of tension, of course, we see that tense muscles, sore muscles are really benefited from Thai massage. Not only because they give you some massage technique, but there are also a bunch of stretches that are involved as well. We've mentioned oxytocin and what that does in terms of the sensation of joy and happiness. And then on the other side of the spectrum, cortisol is something that you may or may not have heard of, and it's the hormone that is primarily implicated in the stress response. So it really does create a situation or an environment in your body that makes it ready to handle stressful situations. And biologically, that's really important, rarely. So in the rare circumstance where we should be stressed, that's really beneficial. The problem is if we spend too long in that stress state, the cortisol actually really heavily influences a whole set of organs and organ systems, and it means that they're not functioning as well. And above and beyond that, when we are stressed, when we're in that state of high cortisol, our immune system isn't functioning very well at all. Because let's think about this. If you're in a situation where you have to get out of there, if it's a survival situation, it doesn't matter if you can fight off a cold at that point in time. Has no standing with your survival at all. So your body the cortisol shuts it down, doesn't need it. The problem is, again, we shut it down for too long, and it takes a lot longer to get it kick-started again. And one of the profound things about touch, or at least about our skin, is a huge part of our immune response is housed within our skin. So think about that for a minute, and then also think about the fact that Thai massage reduces your level of cortisol as well. So it reduces your level of cortisol, boosts your immune system, brings you more oxytocin and joy, and therefore really, really positively influences your health and happiness. So now that we have spoken quite a bit about touch and Thai massage and all of those things, and we've already learned one technique, what I'm going to take you through now is a couple more self-massage tools. So if you've walked away from the computer, just come on back for a minute. We're gonna learn a couple more really impactful techniques that you can use at any time throughout the day. So remember, we have our forearm massage technique that you can use. Then we also have a jaw massage. So if you take a moment to find your cheekbone, you want to come just underneath your cheekbone. Actually, before I do this, 1 second, one thing I want to highlight is that compassion is the first and underpinning piece of this whole thing. So that doesn't necessarily just mean compassion to other people. That's definitely a really good practice. It also means compassion to yourself. It also means take good care of yourself. And in this particular setting right now, it means don't push it too hard. It can be really intense. Our jaw holds so much. It does way too much, especially if we clench our teeth, especially if we're grinders at night, okay? This is something you're gonna wanna use, this technique, if you're either a clencher or a grinder, okay? So find your jaw just underneath your cheekbone. Remember, if it gets too much, release and then slowly return. Just start up nice and high and gently push your fingertips in, right into the muscle tissue. And then from there, if you like, you can add some little circles in. And with those circles, or even just shifting your static pressure, you can move down, you can move further down the jaw, all the way, and you'll find, chances are, you'll find a couple of really sensitive spots. So you might want to spend some more time there, okay? If that feels really good, keep doing it. This is, again, a tool that you can use at any time throughout the day for any particular reason. You might be at work and you might have just had a tough conversation with someone and you're clenching your teeth like this. And instead of doing that, you think, wait, I'm gonna just manage my stress a little bit, come to the jaw and help that release, help it open up. One other thing that I want to add to this jaw massage, which is going to be even more intense, so please remember, compassion, metta to yourself, is we kind of come behind the jaw. So just underneath your earlobes, come behind the jaw, and instead of sinking our pressure in, we're actually going to try and push our jaw forward a little bit. Really, really, really slowly. It can be really intense. And if you have any questions about this technique as well, please remember to put it in the chat. Just take a moment to gently push your jaw forward. At the same time you're doing that, release your jaw. So try to let it hang low. Again, I can't see you through the camera. So just let your jaw hang and send it forward in space. Oh, awesome. And we've got some people experiencing this relief already. So if it feels good, definitely let us know. That's awesome to hear. And it's something, again, you can tie both of them in together. You can do one of them at a time. Spend as long as you need there, okay? Because it is an area of our body that tends to accumulate quite a bit of unnecessary tension. Then we also have a neck massage. So to add in the neck massage, interlace your fingers, tilt your head forward in space, and then reach behind so that you can take a grip of your neck. Now, if you can see here, my thumb is located just underneath the base of my skull, okay? So try gently to settle it into that spot, and then to apply a little bit of pressure slowly, draw the elbows towards one another in front of you. And then just stop when it feels really, really good. You don't want to go too far. You don't want to go into any unpleasant sensation. You want it to be feeling really, really good. And then as you release your pressure, take the elbows wider, and each time you repeat, you can go a little bit lower. So there's actually quite a lot of real estate on the neck here that you can get to. It goes quite a long way. And as you guys keep doing this, a little bit more about the neck is that, especially around the base of our skull, it tends to accumulate quite a lot of tension because there are a lot of attachments of muscle and connective tissue at the base of the skull. So it's kind of like the end of the road for a lot of movement or for a lot of holding patterns. So especially if we're sitting at a desk and we're not moving our head very much, all of that energy of holding, all of the effort of our muscles to hold still, it's kind of the end of the road for it, okay? So take note of that, see how you feel when you're doing that. Let us know as well how it feels, and hopefully you find some really nice spots to massage out, okay? So using the thumbs, again, elbows in towards one another in front of you. And then remember, we also have the forearm one that we just did a little bit earlier. To add on as an extra little bonus, just because it's fun and because I hope you guys will use it, a little bit of chest massage. Now, a chest massage is best done by someone else, but if you're at work or if you're during the day and you don't have anyone else to do this for you, it's a really quite a commonly hidden area of tension that we don't tend to recognize all that much. So start underneath your collarbone. So find your collarbone and you want to come just underneath it. And I'm going to get you to sink your fingertips directly in towards your rib cage. Then from there, I'm going to ask you to gradually move up and down with your fingertips. So you're dragging them through that muscle tissue. And if you don't notice any particular sensitive spots, shift a little bit. And then settle in again and drag up and down and all around, okay? Chances are, after a few times, I don't know about you guys, but there's definitely some tight spots in here. So take a minute or two to find those spots. When you find it, then there's no more need to move. If you find a spot and you think, wow, this spot could really use some attention, stay there and just sink directly into it, okay? Then, of course, so that you're nice and even, start to do that on the other side. So palpate around, kind of feel around in there, see where you're feeling the most sensitive. Once you find a couple of spots, settle in with direct pressure into the muscle. Okay, just wait there, breathe, take enough time to feel a little bit of a release, to feel a change in that sensation. So keep trying those as we keep talking. But one thing I'd love to know is if you put in the chat, which one is your favorite out of those ones? I mean, they're all pretty good. At least I hope they're all pretty good. But just let me know which one you think is your favorite, which one you think that you need to spend or the most time on or use the most. So those are things that, again, you can do in your everyday, and they really help to change the way that we can take care of ourselves. So compassion to ourselves, we can take care of ourselves in a really unique way that way. However, wouldn't it be really cool if you guys could have someone else do that for you? And wouldn't it be cool if someone else, or you could provide that relief to someone else? I really, and that single question there is basically the reason why I created this online course, which helps you to work with another person. It helps to teach you the basics of Thai massage with someone else. So you've got a couple of tools that you can use now on your own, but know that there is a whole lot of benefit you can receive from working with another person. So to give you a little bit of an overview of this course that I'm talking about, I've got a few extra slides here to go through. So if it's something that you'd consider or something that you want to hear more about, then here's a few things that you need to consider. Oh, before I move on, I definitely got one question here from Sue. What about breathing during a massage? Yes, that is a really, really good question. And to be honest with you, Sue, I could talk at length about breathing and Thai massage. I think it is, as a brief answer, I guess, what you could do is you just want to make sure that you're breathing deeply, because your breathing can also be a really great signal as to whether or not it's something that I call delicious pain versus pain. And we never want to go into pain. And what happens when we do is, even if we don't notice it, what might happen is your breath might become really shallow, or you might end up holding your breath. So those two changes in your breath signal that maybe it's a little bit too much. Otherwise, what happens usually, it's something that if it's a really deep breath, that usually signals that you've got a delicious amount of sensation. You're over here in the good area. But we go more into that in the courses that I teach as well. But thank you for that question. That was awesome. So getting set up for a Thai massage at home with working with someone is you need some kind of mat. So when it comes to the use of mats, you want to make sure that it is firm and comfortable. Please don't use the bed. The bed, even though it might seem like a good idea, it will absorb all of the massage pressure that you're applying. So make it some kind of firm, comfortable mat, maybe stacked blankets, stacked towels, a couple of yoga mats, a few Pilates mats, something that you've got at home to make it firm but comfortable. Also props. So when you're using your props, one of my favorite mantras with a home practice of any kind is to make your props do the work for you. And we can get really creative with a whole bunch of stuff that you have at home. So towels and blankets are really super versatile, as are pillows, and you can make them fit and shape them to just how you need them, depending on what's happening, depending on the scenario. Okay, so make your props do the work for you. You obviously need a willing and compassionate partner, and you need to be getting into that compassionate mind state of your own. And chances are there's no shortage of volunteers. If you're looking for someone who you'd like to do a little bit of Thai massage with, think of the people obviously that are living with you, or if you're living by yourself, think of your neighbors, think of your close friends. And so to give you a really quick overview of what's included in this online course is we have an hour and a half of video instruction. Each of the tutorials, each of the whole set of videos is broken up into little tutorials, is what I should be saying. And each of those little tutorials goes through a single technique. We break it down really, really clearly so that you can then watch the video, read about it in the written text, and then practice it at home before being thrown under a whole lot of other information. So it's little digestible chunks. At the end of those, each individual chunks, we have a little quiz to make sure that it's all making sense and the main points are sticking. We also have a full 30-minute guided practice at the end. So once you do all of the little pieces, bit by bit, we'll piece it all together in a continuous flow. And with that video, I'm guiding you the whole way. So I'm with you for that entire duration. And that just creates a nice capstone for the whole experience. You also get a 13-page downloadable PDF as part of the online course, which means you can take it with you. You get access to a private Facebook group where we support one another. There are other people who have done this course previously, and you have access to myself for any questions or support, or if there are any technical issues, you know, the usual. And bonus question and answer with myself. And probably the main benefit that I really love about this online system is that you get access to it forever. Once you get access to it, it's yours. You can keep coming back to it. You can finish it as many times as you want. It's something that keeps on giving. It's one of those things that it just keeps providing more and more benefit as time goes on. So my next question to you is really, what do you think 30 minutes of Thai massage would feel like every week? Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't it be really, really great to be able to get a Thai massage every week? I mean, personally, I know that I would love to, but I also can't afford it. So I don't know, you might be in the same boat. If you can't afford it, this online course is really something that breaks that barrier. It means that you purchase it once and it's yours, okay? And you can use this with your family members, your friends, your partners to get that massage every week. And to give a massage every week, there's a reciprocal benefit for sure. So just think about that saving of the cost as well. But 30 minutes of Thai massage per week will encompass the full spectrum of benefits that we've talked about. Your immune system will thank you. It will really be boosted by this. You'll develop deeper and faster connections with people. And in your family, I think it's always important to keep that communication going. Sometimes it's the people that live in closest proximity to us that we can't communicate as well with. It reduces stress and anxiety. It enhances mobility, especially if that's something you're trying to work on. It's a great tool to use for that. It decreases pain. And as a practice, because compassion is the first and most foundational piece of this, compassion is something that will spread out into the rest of your life. I can't tell you the type and the amount of interaction that I have with people that has changed in my life since I started practicing Thai massage, because it just helps you to develop and cultivate that loving kindness in the majority of situations that we might otherwise find really challenging. So if you have any questions, now is a really great time to answer them. I got a couple of minutes to answer any questions that have come up. If you want to pop them into the chat window, that's great. Otherwise, you can tweet them to Navina Thai Yoga as well, and I'll hopefully get a notification about that and respond. Otherwise, if questions come up at any time, remember that you'll be able to get in touch with me. You can email me. I'll show you the email at the end of the webinar as well. But just know that I'm accessible to answer your questions, basically. So one of the questions that I commonly get asked is, what if my partner doesn't actually like getting a massage? And there is a really long answer to this and a not so long answer to this. And part of the long answer involves why is there that reaction? Why is there that dislike for massage? Because based on what we've already learned today, especially, we know that touch is really fundamental to health, happiness, surviving, thriving, all of these things. To touch is to give life, right? So what's the reason behind it? Maybe it's just that they've never had a really good massage. Okay, maybe it's some other kind of thing that's triggering this, and whatever it is, know that massage and touch, compassionate touch, is really a natural state. So just giving them that information might help to alleviate any resistance there. Okay, we've got another question here. Is it better to massage with the fingertips or the finger pads? Oh, really good question. And what we want to do is actually use the finger pads. So if you think about the tip, and if you think about the first knuckle, the space right in between there is where we're looking to transfer pressure with. Okay, that's going to make sure that it's not pokey. Our fingertip can be a little pokey otherwise. And especially if you have longer fingernails, that'll be a bit scratchy. So try to use the finger pads. That's a really, really good question. Thank you, Sue. No, we'll also talk about other ways to utilize different massage tools in the online course as well. So more than just fingertips, we're really only able to use fingertips on ourselves in this setting. But when we massage other people, we're using things like the heel of our hand or soft fists to provide a little bit more pressure, a little bit more substantial weight to the treatment. All right, so definitely keep posting any questions if you have any, but before we run out of time, I do want to share with you a really special offer that's just for you guys because you're here on the webinar with me. So it's really limited offer. If you are interested in learning more about Thai massage and you like the sound of getting a massage every week and giving a massage every week, we do have the online course available to you, and we're going to take $50 off it just until Friday midnight. So think about that for a minute. As an extra little bonus, we're going to give you an extra question and answer session with myself. You'll also get a free PDF of all the techniques. So that's in addition to the other PDF that you're going to get anyway. And it's a cheat sheet. It's kind of like a glance sheet that you can use and take with you at any stage. So especially if you go off grid, if you go on holidays, if you lose Wi-Fi, whatever it is, have this sheet next to you, and you'll be able to have a reminder of those techniques wherever you are. It's also another bonus is we'll get access for the Facebook group for you and for your partner, for whoever it is that you're working with. Okay. So just consider that for now, and I'm going to go through and talk a little bit more about these couple of things. So who shouldn't take this course? So if you're interested but you're not sure if it's for you, I think it's important to balance out this conversation and let you know if it's not right for you. If you're looking for advanced Thai massage techniques, this really isn't the right setting. An in-person training is definitely more of advanced techniques and something to consider perhaps at a later date. So if you're an existing massage practitioner or a therapist, then if you want to just be introduced to Thai massage, then this is a really good tool. Otherwise, in-person training is probably the best bet. If you have significant hip issues or arthritis, then chances are this is probably not the best for you either, specifically because you want to be working with a healthcare professional that understands these situations and conditions very well. And we just don't make the time in the online course to go through each of those conditions in enough detail to make it safe and make it really beneficial for everyone. But then who is the course perfect for? Okay, so it's basically everyone else, to be honest. It's really great for anyone who's wanting to reduce any mild depression, anxiety, any pain that you're experiencing, things that are related to overuse and overwork. The course really helps with that. Couples, families, especially if, within those couples or family units, if you're trying to find different ways to communicate, if you're trying to find different ways to spend good quality time together. New parents, of course, it's a great tool to have so that you save time and money on having to get out and go for a treatment with anyone else. It's also great, obviously, if you have a really high stress job as well, because of the benefits of reducing cortisol and increasing oxytocin. We also have great benefits for anyone who's wanting to save money, like I said, and then for anyone who's looking to improve flexibility and mobility. So why am I passionate about delivering this course? Part of what my personal mission in life is my why statement is, why am I here? Is I want to bring people together through the vehicle of compassionate touch. And especially in this day and age, I think that is I think that's something that so many of us need. We don't touch one another enough. We don't perhaps feel comfortable. We don't perhaps really know how to approach that. And this online training is to help bridge that gap. It's to help give you the tools or equip you with the tools to make that a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more confident in approaching touch compassionately. It also, I have a passion for increasing communication, enhancing communication. Knowing that all of that information is transferred with each touch, it really changes things. So the next time you go to hug someone, I don't know if you're going to hug someone later on today, just think about, what am I thinking about right now as I do this? Am I thinking really positive, compassionate thoughts or not? And know that whatever those thoughts are that you're holding is being conveyed with your hug, okay? So just think about that and it'll change the way that you approach that interaction. Personally, for me, it's changed my life so much. Thai massage has really left a huge impact on my life and it continues to change it every day. So that's something that I wanted to share with this online course, is just how much it can transform things for you. And of course, it means that I can access you guys year round. I do love to travel, but I can't get to everywhere. And I want to make sure that these teachings can get to you wherever you are. So the fact that it's online and it's available year round, it really makes things a lot more accessible for a lot more people. So as a little bonus, remember that you get, as a little summary, sorry, I should say, as a bonus, you get the Q&A. You also get access to the Facebook group for yourself and your partner. And you get that cheat sheet, which I think is a really cool thing to have that you can set by your side as you practice. Oh, why don't I actually show you guys what that looks like? Hang on one second for me. I'm going to bring it up. Just to give you an idea of some of the techniques that you're going to be using. Ooh, one second. Okay, I just need to bring this up. Okay, here's a little bit of an overview. This is basically the techniques that we'll go through in really great detail. And, excuse my facial expression here. The pictures do make it look like I'm a little bit upset, but I'm not. I'm very happy, I promise. And this just gives you an overview of what we'll go through, what we cover in that online course, those techniques, okay? So, so that just gives you a little glimpse as to what's going on. And those techniques are what we go through for the full 30-minute massage, for the full flow. We piece them all together in a really fluid transition. So, I just want to show you one more thing. So as a kind of a summary to this whole discussion is, what can Thai massage do for you? It reduces pain. It helps you manage stress naturally. It changes the way you interact with people, and it will definitely enhance your relationships and your communication. It increases your ability and your comfort with compassionate touch. And it is really something that is not just a practice for 30 minutes. It's honestly something that will transfer out into everything that you do. And so before I leave you, there are some other people who have taken the course, and I do have a little testimonial to share. So this is from Ashley, who's already gone through the online course. And Ashley says here that having studied Thai yoga massage with Drew a few years ago, I was overjoyed to take part in his Thai massage online training. The training was clear, succinct, and easy to follow, and in brackets, and a great way to spend a Monday evening at home with my beloved. I felt confident in completing the massages after a few hours of watching along with the video. The best part is that now I have access to this online material for those days when I forget the specific techniques that I learned in the original training. Drew is an amazing instructor, and this is an amazing program. I'm so happy I gave it a shot. So just to share with you someone else's experience of what they went through with the online course. So one last little reminder as a summary is that you'll get $50 off if you register before Friday at midnight, and we'll take you through with all of those extra benefits. Remember, it really will change things, and I'm so stoked that I do actually have the opportunity to share this with you. Oh, we do have one more question here from Sue. Does the online course give you a certification? It doesn't give you a certification. What it gives you is the tools at home to work with people close to you in your life. If you're looking for a certification, there are further trainings to get a certificate, and we can definitely talk about that further if you'd like. But this is a really good way to start that process towards certification, is to get a little taste and to maybe even see how much you really like it, to see how easy it is to use these tools, and then maybe you take the plunge into the certification courses at a later date. So thank you guys so much for joining me on this. I really hope that even just the tools that I showed you, the self-massage tools, help you alleviate some stress and tension. And I really hope that you consider taking the online course. Please let me know if you have any questions. The chat is going to remain open for another few minutes. Otherwise, flick me through the questions to an email, questions@navina.ca. And the next course, so registrations are open until next Monday. That early bird rate is good until Friday midnight. And then I'll see you guys in class on Monday, okay? And by the way, the registration button, if you really want to dive in right away, is just below. So you can click the registration button below and get taken right away to the registration page. Again, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you had a blast. I had a blast, and hope to see you on Monday in class.